well documented that the media landscape and kind of consumer attitudes and brands today are kind of, shifting and evolving fast. But actually what's less well documented is the impact that that's having on marketing leaders of today. And in the privileged position in which we operate, where we actually get to talk to and gather data from literally thousands of brands every year, we believe we're seeing some real changes in the sort of leadership styles, I suppose, of CMOs and marketing directors in lots of brands across the board. Times are actually changing fast for us as well. And I think historically as an organisation, we've kind of probably been best known in the role of helping brands and agencies to come together and find the right partners, which is still, of course, a really kind of core element of what we do, and in fact actually the end game of what we do in a lot of cases. But actually, in recent years, we've been playing a much broader role for brands in terms of kind of helping them to supercharge their marketing activity by providing them with online intelligence on a daily basis that supports them in 3 key areas. The analogy that I often draw on here really is just, is the best analogy I can think about, which is with Zoopla really, and what that's done to the property world. So it's actually, the end game, I suppose, in many cases for people using Zoopla is buying property, but actually the end game is not necessarily doing that within the next 12 months, for example. Really, Zoopla is supplying kind of intel, market analysis, data, all those sorts of things, which actually puts the user in a position of strength when they are ready to act. And that's, I think, the role that we see ourselves playing now in the world of marketing.
But what we don't have enough of right now, layered into our audiences, is a true understanding of where our audiences inhabit non-linear TV platforms. So how do we lay social and digital? Some of our audiences today, for brands such as Doctor Who, don't come to linear TV today. So really understanding where those audiences are, on what platforms, and what opportunities come off the back of that. When we look at multimedia content in the context of global brands, it's not just about watching the television show and buying the t-shirt now. So we've got a very non-linear model, but all that has to ladder up to the master brand. And I think when we're talking in particular in a world of disintermediation of content, where some of it sits on Netflix, some of it sits on Amazon, some of it actually sits on our own channels, making sure that the master brand ties it all together is definitely much more of an imperative today than it might have been in the past.
That through all our products, our services, everything we do needs to be laced with good thinking from the customer lens. How are our products and services really helping our customers on an everyday level? And that's led us to a complete overhaul of what we've done creatively. Just giving you a flavour of that, in the last Paul Whitehouse campaign, 99% of the media was TV, 1% was other stuff. The campaign we're going to launch next month is only 50% traditional broadcast and 50% other, particularly content.
And I would say if I talk about British Gas specifically, I think the journey we're going on is from a product P&L-led organisation, so very siloed, with which marketing spent a lot of time joining the dots around the narrative to the external world, to a customer-led organisation with brand at the heart. The history of utilities has been you are the incumbent, so you haven't had to work hard for customers and really understand customer need. That world is gone. And I think utilities is going through the biggest transformation you've ever seen. Just because you spend more and you've got higher share of voice doesn't mean you're the most effective. So really understanding, engagement and content and personalisation is where we're moving.
We were very advertising led and also very brand centric. So we always talked about ourselves. We never really talked about the role for the customer, and which is ironic because when you talk to our customers, that's what they love about us, which is we are a very customer centric business, yet there was a disconnect with how we were positioning ourselves in the market.
What we're really interested in at Creativebrief is actually creating a culture within brands of the importance of being outward looking and the importance of being kind of curious and learning from what other brands are doing around you, what's going on in the market, what trends and themes there are, and potentially even what's going on not just in your competitive brands but actually outside of your space to think much bigger and that you can learn from.
Generally as a business anyway, we're always looking for curious individuals. So I think that's probably one of the most important things, is making sure that when we bring people into the team, they have that natural curiosity, because you can do as much as you like in terms of creating the right processes and the right work environment. But I think people have to have that natural curiosity to want to be outward looking. It's really critical that people are standing back, taking time to look outside and see what great work looks like. Another kind of value that we encourage a lot at Virgin Atlantic is risk taking, unless you're a pilot, obviously. I think that's something that Richard from the very outset has always encouraged as a value in the business. So it's okay to fail, it's not okay not to try.
I mean, the message to my team has always been, if you think it's important, you'll create time for it. So time's quite often used as the reason for not doing something, because we are all busy running around. I think it's about creating the value that you get from doing it, because actually for every single interaction, for any company I've talked to, I've learned something.
I think the interesting about it, if you're in any role at any level and you think you know it all, it's a hugely dangerous place to be. And I think the word curious came out earlier on. Stay curious about what's going on around you. I think it's really important you learn from those in your team who will bring new skills and new knowledge, particularly on digital. But I think for me, there's an emerging ecosystem with our agency partners as well. So I've got a job in my team, head of marketing transformation. I'm bringing someone in from our media agency to do that job for me. Seconded in for 7 months and bringing in a different mix of people in the team so we can learn different skills and bring different things in. So you create a win-win. So I think there'll be a bit more fluidity to how teams work and how your ecosystem works with your agencies.